I don't think it will be a surprise for anyone in this audience to hear that only 1/3 of UK employees are actively engaged at work. Over 64% feel that their skills and talents are not being fully utilised, and this is a tragic waste in terms of company and organisation productivity, but also in terms of individual potential and well-being. I believe that a key solution to this is employee ownership. But let me get it clear what I mean by employee ownership. I don't mean just handing out shares to employees. Share ownership alone is unlikely to miraculously lead to a highly engaged workforce. What I'm talking about is a culture of ownership, and you can actually have a culture of ownership within any organisation, whether it be private sector, public sector, or a charity. An ownership culture is one where individuals all have an ownership mindset, where they think, act and feel like owners, and where their well-being and development is paramount. If I take John Lewis as an example, that's the largest UK employee-owned company, and they actually have written into their constitution that the main purpose of the organisation is the happiness of all its employees. They realise that happy employees mean happy customers. So how can you achieve this culture of ownership? I think there are 5 key elements that we'll be talking about here. You need to have shared purpose and values. Information needs to be shared. Power needs to be shared, and rewards need to be shared. And finally, you need a different kind of leader. So, looking at the purpose of the organisation, this needs to be something that everyone buys into. And in the words of Simon Sinek, I might not be pronouncing his name properly, he says you need to know the why. You need to know why you do what you do. Values are also incredibly important, and these must be, in terms of setting values and also reviewing values, everyone in the organisation needs to be involved in that. It can't just be senior management deciding these are our values and communicating them to everyone else. One employee-owned company in Sheffield, which distributes school uniforms, felt so strongly about this that everyone in the whole organisation took a day off their normal work activities and spent time determining what their 7 key pillars of employee ownership were. And these pillars are used in the recruitment process to determine whether someone is a good fit for the organisation. They're very much of the opinion that you recruit for attitude and train for skill. The values also have to be real, and they need to be demonstrated on a daily basis. And another employee-owned company is Aquascot, which is a fish processing plant in the north of Scotland. Their managing director is very comfortable with anyone within the organisation challenging him if he's not upholding their values. Transparency is also key. You need open book management. You need people to understand or to be given the financials, and it's not enough just to be given them. They also need to understand them. They need to know what the key drivers are within the organisation, and if it's a company, they need to understand, everyone needs to understand how the company makes money. Power is also important, and people need to have autonomy within their own roles, but they also need to have influence in terms of key decisions in the organisation. And this can come about in a number of ways. Some organisations will have employee forums where they're a channel for employees to put forward ideas and suggestions for improvement, but also a means of management consulting with them, gauging their opinion on various issues and really listening to them. In a number of employee-owned companies, you'll actually have elected employee directors on the boards, so they'll be able to give an employee perspective in terms of key decision making. And also in some of these companies, it will actually be written into their constitutions that for certain major decisions, such as, for example, the sale of the company, that all employees get to vote on that. You also need a well-designed reward system or bonus system, and in terms of that, everyone needs to have the same goals, be in the same boat, and everyone needs to have a stake in the outcome. And again, using John Lewis as an example, everyone from the cleaner to the managing director gets the same percentage of their salary as a bonus. This year they enjoyed 17%, which was equivalent to about 9 weeks' pay. slight reservation I would have about their bonus system is that it's annual, and I would say that you probably want it to be more frequent, so you're probably looking at monthly or quarterly. And the final element of this ownership culture is a different kind of leader. What you need is someone who walks the talk in terms of behaviours and values, and someone who empowers people rather than looking to control them, and someone who is visionary. They need to have a focus on learning in terms of personal development, also encouraging others to reach their potential, and also being open to being a learning organisation and being open to changing the way the organisation operates. So what are the benefits of moving to this ownership culture? Well, there are actually loads, and I'm going to talk about the benefits for the organisation and individuals. There are actually a lot of benefits for society, but I've only got 7 minutes. So in terms of benefits for the organisation, less management, so lower costs, high productivity, higher innovation, staff turnover and absenteeism are lower. In terms of the individual, greater opportunity to reach their potential, greater control of their destiny, financial rewards are likely to be higher, and also just a better working environment. Now, I said at the start of my talk that I wasn't talking about employee ownership as such, but what I would say is that if you're a private business, then employee ownership, actually moving into full employee ownership, can mean that these benefits are even higher. This can be a fantastic exit strategy for owners who want a fair price for their business, but want the business to continue with the same values, employing the same people and in the same location. It can be great for Scotland as a whole if you've got more of these sustainable businesses where the jobs are rooted in the local community. So in conclusion, I would urge you to consider ownership culture for your organisation, and also if you're a business owner, then consider actually moving into employee ownership. Thank you.